All right, Scott Engel of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio and RotoExperts.com. And you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world. Anybody who listens to this show knows I'm a huge Kiss fan, so it's a pleasure to welcome in Kiss drummer Eric Singer. Kiss, Eric, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, Eric, everybody hears lots of interviews with you when people talk about Kiss and everything, but I wanted to show another side of you today. Eric, you're a very big sports fan. I know you're into the NBA and the NFL, so tell us who your favorite teams are and how you got into them.
Well, I've been a sports fan my whole life because I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, so obviously I was a Cleveland Browns fan. And I actually was at the 1964 NFL championship. The last time Cleveland won a championship for any sport was 64 against the Baltimore Colts, and I went to that game. I was 6 years old.
Wow.
My dad had season tickets to the Browns most of his life, even from the 50s and all through all those championship years. And we had two tickets, and he used to take my little brother and I, and he knew the guard, so that he would let two of us in on one ticket. We would share the seat when we were little kids. And so I got to see all the great, I got to see Jim Brown in his prime, and then Leroy Kelly, the running back after him that took his place. So, and my dad was also a musician, so he used to also play with his band at the Cleveland Indians games a lot. And I remember him taking me to see the Indians in the '60s, and I got a Mickey Mantle home run baseball. It was the last year Mickey played, which I think was '66 or '67. I forget whatever the last year that Mickey Mantle played. My dad used to take me to the games because the band would set up out in the outfield where the bullpens were, and Mickey Mantle hit a home run, and the ball went over the fence. My dad goes, "Run down and get the ball," and I was a little kid, so I was kind of scared. And one of the relief pitchers for the Yankees, he's just kind of walking slowly to go over and pick the ball up, and I remember running past the guy and grabbing the ball, and then the next day, because they were in town for a series, my dad was hanging out by the fence and kept calling Mickey and got him to come over and sign the baseball to me. So I still have that home run baseball from Mickey Mantle.
Wow, what a thrill for you that must be. And growing up in Cleveland, obviously, I'm sure you're attached to the Cavs too. What was your reaction to the whole LeBron James departure?
Well, obviously, I had mixed reviews. I was obviously the Cavs started playing in Cleveland in 1970. It's funny because my favorite team is the Lakers, and I was a big Lakers fan because I loved basketball before Cleveland even had a team. My favorite teams were the Knicks and the Lakers, and I remember watching. I loved Wilt Chamberlain as a kid. I was always fascinated how big he was, and my dad took me to see the Lakers play the Cavs in 1970 when they came to town. So, because I loved Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, that whole Lakers team at that time, and so I started off being a Lakers fan first. Of course, I've always, when you're a kid, you're usually a fan of the team that your parents or the team that you're exposed to. So I grew up Cavs, Indians, Cleveland Browns, even Cleveland Barons for hockey when I was a little kid. But in regards to the LeBron thing, well, again, everybody knows he was a free agent, and he's entitled like anyone. Basically, once I'm done with the tour, I'm a free agent too. So if I want to go play with another band or go do whatever I want, everybody has the right to do. Freedom of liberty, if you will, in America. But I just think the way he went about it was not cool. I mean, it was almost, somebody gave an analogy, which I thought was great. They said, it was like going on national TV to tell your wife that you're going to divorce her and leave her, and it's like kicking her in the stomach in front of the whole world. So to me, it's like if he really which I think he knew all along that he didn't plan on staying. I think he could have just. He should have probably called the owners before he went on TV and said, "Hey, thanks for all the great years." I mean, would have been a good way to do it, a better way to do it, I should say.